Hello, this is CK7 again with another commentary for the final round in Disney vs. non-Disney villains, round 14, which is my all-time favorite round. It's the most awesome and most epic round you guys have done. So let's begin with Hades and his Titans versus Arista and her Titans. This was an awesome fight because, yes, you featured the Titans finally, but you also, instead of just Hades versus Arista, you give an Arista her own Titans. That way it'd be an even match. Introducing Arista's Titans, the Rock, also known as the Iceberg, Sharktooth, the Dragon from the Page Master, and the Red Bull from the Last Unicorn. It's very cool that you use monsters from other non-Disney animated films as the Titans. Although I'm kind of wondering how come you didn't feature the Cyclops, that was part of the Titans. Like, if you did feature him, what would have been a good non-Disney animated monster for him to fight? Because I can't really think of any. So I guess that's why you didn't feature the Cyclops in. Or you just couldn't get enough footage out of him, maybe, I don't know. But this was still an awesome fight, and Hades wins. Alright, Maleficent versus Rothbart. In the Forbidden Mountains, Maleficent gets onto her goons about failing in the battle, and then Rothbart bursts in. And of course, Maleficent enraged that Rothbart was one that turned her pet crow into stone. First you turn her crow into stone, and then you shock her minions.
Now shall you deal with me and all the powers of hell.
Really epic soundbite right there, I'll have to say. But I'm surprised that that's the only soundbite you used in this round, because I could probably have thought of a couple more soundbites you could have used, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, Maleficent turns into her dragon form, and Rothbart turns into his gray animal form. I actually knew you guys would make this fight, because both these villains turn into giant winged monsters, and I figured who would win, of course, the almighty Maleficent. Fatality. And that's the end of Rothbart. Alright, now we have Frollo versus Ruber. Frollo locks himself in the cathedral, which is a very bad idea, because Ruber is waiting for him with his giant sword arm. Very interesting rivalry, like I said before, because, yeah, Frollo, a religious maniac, and Ruber being a barbaric warrior. But of course we have this awesome sword fight between the two. But they really make good rivals, I'll have to say. And he shall smite the wicked and plunge them into the fiery pit! Yeah, sorry, I couldn't help but quote what Frollo said there. So why didn't you put that soundbite? I thought that could have worked. Maybe, I don't know. But I did not expect Frollo to lose, because Ruber, I guess he's one of my favorite villains, but I'm not quite sure. Okay, now we have Ratigan versus the Mouse King. Nice to see that you found enough room to give Ratigan one more fight in this war. And it's with the Mouse King, who has survived this fight with Lucifer, back in round 9. And that's the end of the Mouse King. And Ratigan is now ruler of Nim. Okay, Ursula and Morgana versus Messina, which, like you mentioned before, Sensible Man, it's more like Ursula versus Morgana versus Messina, because Ursula and Morgana, being sisters and all, are fighting over the Triton. Which I guess at first that would be kind of considered cheating, but yeah. Oh, and by the way, yeah, nice here you're finally using Undertow, even though he doesn't have much of an appearance. But yeah, like I mentioned though, I guess it's kind of cheating that you have two Disney villains fighting each other, but then in a way, Morgana doesn't really die in the movie she's from. She just gets frozen in that giant ice sculpture, I guess, or whatever. Ice formation, I should say. And I guess that's the end of Morgana. Maybe. And now that she's out of the way, Ursula decided to take out Messina once and for all. And that's the end of Flotsam and Jetsam. You know, that's probably one of the few times that the minions of a villain gets killed, or at least with Disney villains. Because most of the time with Disney villain henchmen, they either, you know, get redeemed or whatever. And this is the end of Messina, even though that's not how she doesn't die in the movie, but you made up a death, which was really creative. Alright, Captain Hook versus Hollywood. Moxx has a plan to conquer both animated and live-action dimensions, and sends Hollywood to the live-action realm to release a plug, I guess, to allow the cartoon world in. And the only one who notices this is Captain Hook, who decides to follow Holly into the live-action world. And I was kind of wondering how are you going to do that at first, and then it hit me. Use the live-action Captain Hook. And just like the last fight, I thought this was kind of cheating at first, but both James Isaac Captain Hook from the 2003 theater can and the Dustin Hoffman, or David Hoffman, I can't remember, you know, that version from Steven Spielberg Hook. I mean, they're both non-Disney movies and all, but both live-action Captain Hooks are kind of similar to the cartoon Captain Hook, so I guess it would count. Still very creative, and now I understand why you use Hollywood in this series, because it introduces how the live-action villains will become part of the war later on. Okay, now this is a fight I was hoping you guys would make. Jafar versus Rasputin. The two most awesome and most powerful sorcerers in animated history for the first time go head-to-head. I'm serious, they are so similar villains, they're really meant to fight each other. But I guess this fight was kind of hard for you guys to configure with, I guess, because you're trying to get the villains to stay within character from their movies. And as we all know, with Jafar turning into a genie and all, there are three things the genie cannot do. They cannot bring back the dead, they cannot make two people fall in love with each other, and they definitely cannot kill anybody, no matter what they do. So yeah. So it makes sense that you made this fight a tie, instead of anyone actually winning. I mean, no one loses, but no one wins either. Instead of killing Rasputin, Jafar just banishes him to limbo, and Jafar is now prisoner of the lamp. Yeah, I always thought that Rasputin had a pretty grisly death scene. And, yeah, there goes his reliquary. And the final fight, the fight that we've all been waiting for, Dr. Facilier versus Moxx, the rematch. This was a fight that everyone's been waiting to see over a year ago, ever since Moxx defeated Facilier. And Moxx has summoned a demon, which the friends on the other side don't seem that pleased about. And then out of nowhere comes their old friend, Dr. Facilier, back from the dead. To Moxx's surprise. This was my favorite fight you guys have done in the entire series, because it was so well edited. You had my all-time favorite Disney villain at the very end of the story. And the music just matches very well with the fight. It was just 100% pure epic. This is Sparta! Sorry, couldn't help quote that. And that's the end of Moxx. And Facilier is back! Just pure epic. And now for the aftermath. Hades has taken over the Mount Olympus. Ursula, who's ruler of the Seven Seas. Well, you know what I mean. Ratigan is now ruler of Nim. King Ratcliffe, that's actually kind of a scary thought, is now ruler of France, now that Frollo has been defeated. He takes place. Shan Yu is Emperor of China. Yzma is ruler of Peru, I guess. Somewhere like that. I'm pretty sure it's Peru. Ramesses is back on top in Egypt, and gets on the Hotel Hoy for working with Maleficent. And Count Mansley now has Lady Tremaine and Drusilla as their slaves. Rasputin is trapped in limbo.
I have lost a gift from the dark forces. The key to my powers.
And Ruber is king of the world, making him the ultimate villain. Which makes sense, because he has not lost a fight. So, yeah. And Maleficent is just glad the war is over. But then, she's very ticked that Ruber is in charge now. And Frollo is now in the bowels of hell and confronted by the devil himself, which, as we know, is Chernabog. So yeah, this was a really, really awesome series you guys have done. And for this particular round, given a number between 1 and 10, I give it a 12 because it was just so epic, and the entire series was very well done. You guys worked really, really hard on the series. And, as we all know, it's, well, yeah. So yeah, you worked very hard, y'all did a very good job with the editing, and must have took y'all forever. And now the war's over. Or is it? Apparently the war is not over. And that's the end of my commentaries for Part 1, and I will be doing the commentaries for Part 2 later. So this is CK Primo 7, and I will see y'all then.